So have you ever been in that awkward spot where a client asks about your pricing and you're not sure how to explain it without feeling a little bit uncomfortable? We've all been there, right? It's tricky. You want to stand by your value, but you don't want to scare them off. So in this video, I'm going to explain a super simple, no fluff process to help you explain your pricing confidently, help you get clients to be able to see the value behind the number without stress or the need to over-explain. Just a clear, professional way to handle the conversation that many creative agency owners have used over the years to successfully overcome pricing objections. Let's jump into it. So the first thing that I want to hit here is that in order for us to be able to have a conversation about value, we need to be articulating value. We need to have built relationship, know, like, and trust with the client. Where I see the vast majority of agencies end up going wrong in a sales conversation is that they are not meaningfully having a conversation about what it is that the client's looking for. You're going into the sales call trying to explain to the client why we are the best thing since sliced bread. We're not asking questions, we're not engaging with them, we're not understanding them. What often happens though, right, that ends up creating this is that we end up feeling like we are in a place of question and answer, that they are asking a question and we are answering it. So we end up in this very back-footed oriented relationship. And they may even ask about pricing very early on in the conversation, like what is the price range that you ultimately work with? Like what does it cost? Because they want to know, are they in the right room? And the way that I would answer that question so that you can start to have a conversation about value is, our pricing can range. It's anywhere between $700,000 a year to $10,000 for a project, whatever that range is, starting with a higher number and then going to the lower. But the reality is that there's so many different ways that we can tackle situations. It would be helpful for us to first understand what it is that you're looking to accomplish, and then we can have a little bit better of a conversation about what that price looks like. Then go into what it is that they're looking to accomplish. So talk to me about where you are right now. Like what about this particular question? Once you are able to actually understand where the client is now, where they're looking to go, you can start to actually properly define your value. Being able to talk about the actual features and why it fits. So the context of value is in the pain point that the client is ultimately in. And so while you're explaining pricing, before you even reveal the price, you want to talk about what it is that you're doing and how it is that it solves for the problem that the client is having. And the only way for you to be able to do that is to first understand that problem in the first place. You can talk about it in broad strokes of here's where many people are right now, and here's the problem that a lot of people in the industry are facing. That type of thing can work, but it ends up being a bit more of a commoditized conversation. You need to understand your client's goals and needs in order for you to be able to have the right conversation around price point. You need to be able to talk about with clients and give them the feeling about how it is that you are the right direction to go. And so it's a risk value calculus. Every single person's doing it. When you're thinking about a price point of any product, you're thinking, what is the value of this product? Is this an equated a reasonable price for it? And what would be the risk if I were to buy the cheaper one, right? Like you have the brand name and then you have the off-brand name that people are buying. Is it more worthwhile because I'm going to keep this for a long time for me to buy the brand name or not? One that has a warranty, a brand that I ultimately trust. Is it worth spending 3 or 4 times the cost to get the brand name? Yes or no? And every single person does it, including you. And so in order for you to be able to have a conversation about price and value, you need to be communicating your differentiators. And the way that you do that is while you're having a conversation with your client, you utilize things like social proof. You use experience that you've had, situations that you've already gone through that allow for them to understand where you are. And positioning becomes a whole lot more simple once you're having a conversation about here's the utility of what we are currently seeing in the market. Oh, you were describing this problem. It seems actually, that reminds me of a situation with an existing client right now where they were in a much similar place to where you are right now and looking to accomplish a similar thing, or a past client or a similar situation. Or, hey, I know this is going on in the industry, kind of what's going on here. Here's the variables and the things you need to be considering, allowing for you to be more consultative in the way that you're approaching the conversation. Because if you're not talking about it that way, if they don't realize in that conversation that the risk is higher to not engage with your agency than it is to engage, then they're going to be looking for the cheaper option. And that's the reasonable choice for them to make. They're not making the wrong choice then. You have helped make that choice for them and making sure that they understand what are the risk factors and how you would go about mitigating them, making sure that your positioning is simple and strong. I don't want you to be over-explaining. I don't want you to be over-articulating. I don't want you to be trying to convince anyone of anything, because the reality is that if you're trying to convince people of something and that it actually worked, we wouldn't have the political division that we currently have across the globe, would we? No, people would be much more easily easily convinced of someone else's position. And we're not. We believe what we want to believe. And the only thing that we can do is show people the way, a way for them to look at what they are currently seeing already and evaluate the risk profile and the things themselves. And then timing is everything. So if you are rushed to try to defend your price and have a conversation, you're trying to explain why it costs what it costs. You're doing it the wrong way. Before, if someone is asking you, well, hey, that's quite a lot, it was more than what I was expecting, well, ask a couple of questions first. Take a curious approach. Well, as compared to what? Would be a great question to ask. Well, how are you looking at evaluating what the price point and would it make sense? What are the predominant considerations that you're making? Allowing for them to understand what it is that they're prioritizing. Is it speed? Is it quality? Is it, the price point? Like, what exactly is it that they're having at the highest priority? Because if you understand what that looks like, then you can have a meaningful conversation that allows for you to be able to talk about that price point in a much more effective manner. Because if you don't understand what it is that they care more about, then you're not going to be able to actually have a meaningful conversation. One of the things that I do like to do when presenting price in the first place, though, is now that you have had the conversation where you understand their need, their background, their desires, their goals, you can start to position it that way, right? So you're going to go through, here's where you are now, here's where your goals are, here's how we would approach the problem, here's the things that we'd include, here's the timeline to be able to do so. You still haven't shown the price. And so now, just want to check in with you, see how you're thinking about the direction. Does that feel right? Do you have any questions? Make sure that you're managing all the objections around the process, the systems, the direction before you get into price. Because if they have a question around the process and how they're going to accomplish their goals, and then you layer price on top of it, of course, the objection is price because they haven't managed the other objections, and that's the easiest for them to articulate. The way that you would then present price, it's like, hey, we see the direction quite simple. All we would need to do is improve upon X percentage, or be able to double this, or be able to change this, or be able to impact this, and we would be able to pay for this entire scope of work and then some. And what does that actually look like from a metrics perspective? And we've been able to do this, hundreds of times before. So that confidence level that you're bringing into it, that simple confidence that you have around what it looks like from a return on investment perspective, is that what any business is doing, what any person is doing when engaging with an agency, is they are looking to solve a business challenge to achieve a business outcome. And the closer that they're able to attribute the two of them, the closer link that they have between them, the easier that they're going to have to rationalize the price point and what they're spending to invest in this direction. The more that they trust you, the more that they feel confident, the better off you're going to be. So now that you've got the tools to confidently explain your pricing and show clients the value behind it, but here's the thing, pricing is just one piece of the puzzle. What about keeping those clients happy and growing your agency at the same time? So in this video, I'm going to break down how to showcase measurable success, position your agency as a trusted partner, and build long-term client relationships that drive growth. Click now and unlock the strategies to take your agency to the next level.